And thank you, Joel, one more time. Thank you. I appreciate you, sir. And we're going to keep in touch. Thank you. And stay here if you want. We're going to have Mr. Joe Munizaga as the next speaker that's going to talk about a little bit about sales approach and everything else. And I'm going to introduce him right now. Um, so our next speaker, it is Joe Munizaga. He's a solution-driven individual. I know him personally. He's an amazing person, always driven towards goals and driven towards success. He's been in the uh, sales industry over 30 years experience, 15 which been to Elite Fitness as working with Grant Cardone for several years and actually hiring most of the people that you are familiar with inside of the Grant Cardone team. He was the one that was directly responsible for hiring them and putting them inside of the role that they're even maybe currently today. Um, a very important aspect of on his, I would say, bio, it is the fact that he was the regional vice president for um, LA Fitness, that he was helping scaling, recruiting, training, operation, and especially he was he was like the, like I said, like the executive team leader for Grant Cardone Technology for the 3 years. He was also responsible for more than $36 million in revenue per year for the team, and he's personally contributed over 50 million in revenues for selling on Mr. Grant Cardone products, event tickets, services, or any other tickets that, or any other products he was selling for inside his team. And currently, Mr. Joe, it's working as a consultant for multiple companies to drive sales, and his plan is to use his expertise in selling and in sales and helping to grow your business around the globe. Wherever you are, he can help you. I know he's working with teams in South America and not only there. So, Mr. Joe Munizaga.
Peter, thank you. Thank you for the kind introduction. And thank you again for giving up for Joel Burr. What a great job you did talking about marketing. I think that is one of the most important things. If you're not known, it's really difficult for you to even get into the sales process. So I want to touch in. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. My conversation today is going to be very simple. I want to make sure that we are all on the same page. I want to also understand that everyone knows here that it's all we have to do is really start taking action, right? And I think this is what's most important here. And this is what I want to share with everyone today. Um, we've heard it all from a lot of people. Hey, it's time to take action. You have to take action. Have to take action. We got to get out of the learning phase. And, sometimes you do have to explore. There's a time in life where you have to explore. And if you're an entrepreneur, solopreneur, if you're building your business for the first time, if you're working for a company, there's going to be times where you need to really look at, hey, how do we scale? How do we expand? And there's a time for that. But there's also a time to actually implement. And I think implementation is the most important thing. A lot of us get caught in that shiny object syndrome and we're just chasing things and we never really get results. So I think that's super important. So I'm glad that a lot of Joel had a chance to say that. I'm sure other speakers have said that, and I'm sure you'll keep hearing it throughout the whole weekend. So let's go ahead and get into this. Really simple here. So what is the most important thing here? So it's important. Let's start with some definitions, right? So when you think about theory, like what does that really mean? And really when you look at the definition of theory, is a set of principles on which the practice of an activity is based, right? So if you go to Google and you say theory definition, that's what you're going to find out. A set of principles on which the practice of an activity is based. So yes, you need the set of principles. Look at, like you see the books there, right? You have to have some type set of principles. You have to have some type of action plan. You got to have some type of theory, right? But again, it's which the practice of an activity is based on. So without the theory, you really can't do anything, right? You can't take action on nothing. So it's important not to put the cart before the horse, right? So so once you have your strategy, once you decide, hey, this is my product, this is my service, this is what I want to do, right? Now you got to go back into the implementation. But at first, you got to, like Joel said, first things first is you got to have a product or service. If you don't have a product or service, then you're not really in business. So in action, when you think about action, right? So let's talk about the next definition. It's a fact or process of doing something, right? I'll say that again. The fact or process of doing something, typically to achieve some type of aim or a target, right? So when you think about taking action, you have an idea, you have a product, you have a service or SKU, whatever that may be. Now you have to do something with it. You know, whether you got to get known. So you got to take action on getting known. You got to create content, right? What do you want to talk about? That's the theory side. What content do you want to produce? That's the theory side. Now you got to get, like Joel said, is you got to start turning on the camera. You got to start sharing content. You got to get into action. You have to do something, because if you don't take action, then it's very hard for you to measure any kind of KPIs, right? Those key performance indicators. Is this working? Is my audience resonating with it? Am I getting click-through rates? Are people actually pushing the button? Are they DMing me? Are they calling? Are they texting? Whatever that is, right? Whatever metrics that you want to measure, you have to start taking it into action. It's very, very important. So very simple. How do you solve this problem? You have to act. So action changes things. So when you think about the word act as an acronym, when you take action, action will create a change, and it'll change things, whatever that is, whether it's putting your product or service in front of somebody, getting in front of that CEO, getting that big deal, getting that first win, getting that first click-through rate, getting that first phone call, whatever that is, right? The end result happens when you start taking action. Very, very simple. So just remember that. Action changes things. Now, take all the theories and turn them into action, just like Dan Pena says. You just gotta effing do it, right? You just gotta do it. You just like Nike has that slogan, just do it. That's what it's about. You have to just start taking action. It's very simple. Okay. I'm here to teach you guys today. How do you take whatever you want to do, product, service, business, whatever, right? Maybe it's a girl you want to meet. Maybe it's a guy you want to meet. Maybe it's that interview. Maybe it's that raise. Maybe it's whatever it is. You just got to do it, because that's the only way you're going to learn. Now, you've heard this already been said, right? You need to learn how to pivot quickly. So let's say I want to get that raise, or I want to go for that job interview, or I have some idea that I want to present to the company that I work for, or I have some type of business that I want to present, some type of service. And when things start going wrong, you just have to pivot quickly, really quick. It's the only way you're going to learn. And again, you heard the previous speaker talk about it took one of his clients 12 different times before they figured out what was actually working, what the audience was actually resonating with and actually taking action on. Because at the end of the day, if you're sending out content, if specifically we're talking about marketing, the only way you know if it works is if, number one, you put it out there, right? People start taking action on it, but you have to take action first so that people can see it, and then people can actually take action on your call to action. So again, just remember, if you don't start, you're never going to get those results. So it's very important. And if it doesn't work, you got to figure out that fine line. When is that fine line where I need to pivot? Sometimes it might be quickly. Sometimes you might need 30 days, 60 days. Sometimes you need to split test things like they talked about in marketing. Like a lot of these things, you just got to know, like when you know you have to pivot, you just got to learn how to pivot. The challenge is people, when they think of an idea, they start taking action on it, they get stuck in their ways, and they get stuck on doing that because that's the way it is. And they don't pivot quickly, and then it costs them hundreds, if not thousands, if not millions of dollars, not only just in money, but also in time. So what I want to teach you today, 3 simple strategies that you can start taking today to turn theory into action. And we're going to take it very simple. I'm taking a page from our mentor, Grant Cardone. I know you guys know I was with him for 4 years. I was one of the team leads. I helped along, obviously, with Todd and Jared and Sherry, the entire team, hire a lot of the people that you see today, a lot of the team leads you see today. And you've seen Grant talk about attitude, activity, and approach, right? So let's talk about that. What does it take? It takes 3 simple things: the attitude, the approach, and the activity. So let's talk about that, right? If you read, and all of you, I'm sure you've read this book. If you haven't read this book, pick it up today. Just go to page 40 on the 10X rule. And it says, to get where you want to go in life, you must adopt the view that whatever is going on in your world, good, bad, or nothing, is something caused by you. So you have to remember that you are the cause of everything that happens in your life. When something good happens, it's your fault. When something bad happens, it's your fault. And also, if nothing is happening because you're stuck in theory, you're not taking any action, that is also your fault. So if you can really grasp onto this concept right now and really understand that, and I think once you can pivot mentally and really say, man, anything and everything that happens to me happens because of me. I am at the cause of everything that happens to me. I am not at the effect, because when you're at the effect, as you know, then you become a victim. And you know, victims don't win in this world, right? So let's talk about attitude, right? Attitude is everything, right? Everything starts and ends with you. You know, one of my mentors, Jim Rohn, says, if you will change everything, everything will change for you. Don't wait for things to change. Change doesn't start out there. Change starts from within, and all change starts with you. So I'm going to let that sit there for a second. I think it's very important when you think about the successful people, the super successful, right? Whether it's money, whether it's business, family, right? Recreational, familiar, community, right? Their health, all started from within. Something had to change. And the ones that have it all, right? That have the good, that have the life, have the family, have the business, have the finances, have the recreational, have their health, have the spiritual, have the community, have everything. Everything started because they decided to make a change. And that's what I want for everybody on this line, everybody listening online, everyone's going to listen in the replay. It starts with you. You got to remember that. And if you can just every single day remind yourself, everything starts and ends with me. You know, if I had a big office, right? I know we live in this virtual world now, but you know, some of you guys and ladies are on this line that have offices. You almost want to put a plaque at the beginning that everything starts and ends with you. There was an old president that had said the buck stops here. He had that right in front of the Oval Office because it has to stop there. So how do you change your attitude? Right? So this is for the most important one. How do you change your attitude? Well, I'm going to provide you with 6 steps that you can start taking today to control your attitude. Okay, 6 steps. So let's get into them. Very simple. This is the number 1. This is what I do every single day. You guys know this is beat the sun up every single day. And I do that. Why? Because it's important. You want to get an early start in the day. You know, if you can beat the sun up in the morning, man, you are ahead. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've literally, I look at the clock and it's like 10 a.m. and I'm like, man, it feels so much later because I've gotten so much done this morning. I've taken care of a lot of things. I checked the box, but it all started with step number 1 is I had to beat the sun up. And if you guys are say, well, I can try, I can do this, but I'm going to show you how you're going to do that. There's one simple way to do that. I'm going to show you that in a second, how you beat the sun up every single day. Number 2, write your goals down every single day. I mean, I think goal setting is something that's super important, something that we hear a lot, something that gets drilled If you're a business owner, you're doing it to yourself, to your team. If you're a solopreneur, you should be doing this every day. Understand, with goals, writing them down every single day, it's easy. Very, very easy, right? But it's the hardest thing you ever do. Remember that. It's so easy that it's the hardest thing to do. So you got to make sure you write your goals on every single day. Make it a staple. Make it something you do. Number 3, exercise. Super important. You got to take care of your energy unit. You got to take care of yourself, right? You got to get up every single day. I work out every single morning. I'm telling you just from experience what I do, right? And I think it's important. You look at successful people, they take care of their body, because what's good to have money, have a great business, right? But you can't enjoy it. You can't enjoy your family. You can't enjoy your business. You can't travel because you're not taking care of your health. You got to make sure that your health is the most important. I know it's step number 3. It doesn't have to be in that order in terms of priority, right? But it's just one of the 3 steps, right? You got to work out, whether it's work out for 20 minutes, go for a walk, whether you want to go to the gym, you want to hire a trainer, you want to get on a bike, whatever you want to do. You want to go for a run, you want to go extreme and run obstacle course races, run half marathons, run triathlons, whatever you want to do. Extreme sports, you decide what you want to do. What's most important is, again, this is that action, right? Oh, most people say, I'm going to work out. I'm starting my diet on Monday. Or you got to start, just move your body for 20 minutes a day. You know, it's simple. A simple thing that we do here in our household is when we work out, we want to burn at least 250 calories. Why? Just a number we made up, right? You pick a number, 250 calories, that's it. There's a lot of workouts you can do, right? Again, and if you don't know what to do, how do I get started? Reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to help you. I mean, like Peter said, I worked with LA Fitness for over 15 years. I built companies all over the US, facilities all over the US as well. I can help you with that. Not a problem. Just reach out to me. More than happy to do that. I'm not sure if you know, but my girlfriend, Brianna, she's a personal trainer. She's been building her business for the last 6 years, right? And just on a quick side note, she had the thought in her head, I want to build a business. I want to build a business. And I literally pushed her every day. Start your business, start your business, just get into action. Just get in, just start with one client. And all of a sudden she's built this business that most people wish they had in the personal training space, right? So it just takes that little thing, right? So if you guys have extra questions with it, we'll be more than happy to help you. Number 4, have a battle plan for the day. I'm going to give you a quick side note. Your day starts the night before. So like if you're preparing for Saturday, you got to prepare Friday night. Like preparing for Friday, I started preparing Thursday. You should be preparing the night before. This is not your goals. Very different. A lot of people say, oh, but this just like my goals. No, you have to have a battle plan. What are the most important things that I need to accomplish today so that by the end of the day, I can say, man, I really made, I had a productive day today. I had a win today. So I want to make sure that you plan. Remember, there's that saying, proper preparation prevents poor performance. Those are the 5 P's. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. So if you can prepare properly the day before, whether it's targets you need to hit, and we can get into very specific. Again, if you don't know how to fill out a battle plan, again, reach out to me. We're happy to help you out. Food is fuel, right? Eat the right foods, right? One of the things that you should start doing and you should do today is eliminate processed foods. If you can do it, anything that's in the box, anything that you can pick up off a shelf, you should really be getting rid of it. You need to make sure that again, this goes back to the exercise, being healthy, right? Taking care of your body. You got to eat the right foods. Here's another simple thing. Again, I'd be more than happy to reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to help you. Here's a really simple hack, right? I got to ask myself, and I ask myself when I tell my clients, what are you doing for the next 2 to 3 hours? Well, I'm sitting in front of a computer. Okay, so I'm sitting in front of a computer for the next 2 to 3 hours. Does it make sense to eat something heavy, something processed? Or do I want to eat something light, right? because I'm going to be in front of a computer working, or maybe I'm going to be doing some hard labor. Maybe that's a different type of fuel. So fuel yourself eating the right foods for the activity that you're going to do in the next 2 to 3 hours. Very, very important. So here's that hack, right? We talked about beating the sun up. Well, and we talked about having a battle plan and doing it the day before, right? Well, the one thing you can control, and that's one of the things that I teach all my clients, is the first thing you have to do, if you want to beat the sun up, you got to control what time you go to bed first. That is the most important thing. Now it takes, and if you guys don't know this, there's a lot of science and data behind it. A good 7 to 8 hours is a good amount of sleep. Listen, I've done the 3-hour sleeps. I've done the work till midnight, get up at 3 in the morning. I've done that. I did that for a long time. You know, I did it so much that I wasn't taking care of my body. I wasn't eating the right foods because I was always in a hurry. I had high stress, right? All these things. And then what happens? That compounding effect, years of just destroying my body. And a lot of people here on this line don't know this. I actually ended up in the hospital in 2015 with a minor stroke. And that's 100%. This is me being 100% transparent. It was something that I had control over, and I ended up in the hospital. Scared the life out of me and my kids. And that day I made a decision that would never happen. And I started taking control because I became the effect of beating my body because I was going so hard, right? Listen, yes, we need to work hard, but can you be effective? So I've shifted and I started shifting, and I've been a student of this. And now like I'm really like diving into the neuroscience of peak performance. How do we get more done in 90 minutes? How do I help my clients get 6 more hours of productivity per day? How do I get my clients being 500% more productive? Imagine if you could get your team 500% more productive on a weekly basis. How much more of an edge you'll have against your so-called competitors, right? But it all starts with these little things that are hard to do. Simple, but hard to do. So we talked about the attitude, 6 steps. Let's talk about approach, right? Obviously, I've been in sales my entire life. I've done a lot of sales training. So approach, let's get really specific on sales approach, right? So how do you sound on the phone, right? Or in person, right? A lot of us, or on Zoom, you know, that one of the things that I'm very grateful for is, you know, when I was with Grant, we did a lot of Zoom calls way before the pandemic, before even any of that happened. So when the pandemic hit and everybody shifted to Zoom, we had an edge. We were maybe 2, 3, 4 years ahead, right? Because we've been doing so many presentations on Zoom and GoToMeeting, right? So how do you sound on the phone or on Zoom or during any interaction with your prospects? Very important. This is that approach. Again, are you recording these interactions? And are you going back and listening to them or watching them yourself? So like, are you doing these one-on-ones? Like, it's so important. So if you don't have this, go find the technology. There's lots of technology that records calls. Obviously Zoom, you can record the Zoom. But the most important is you can do all that. But again, are you going back and watching? Are you watching game film? If you look at the pros, if you look at the NFL, every Monday, minus the team that's playing on Monday Night Football, what are they doing on Monday morning? They're watching game film from yesterday, whether they won, whether they lost, and they're breaking down film. What did we do? What is that one thing? What could we have changed? If I made this turn, could it have changed the entire game? It probably could have. And they break it down and they make sure that they don't do that the following Sunday, right? Or the following Thursday, whenever they have their next game. And they're watching game film on their opponent so they can be prepared. You know, one thing is you can make your calls, you can meet people, you can do your Zoom calls, but if you're not going back and watching and listening, you're missing a vital key point in the approach. There could be sales that could have been made in 10 minutes that took an hour You waited an hour later to actually ask for the sale. When the guy and the girl, they were done 10 minutes into the call, but you didn't catch that, or your team didn't catch that. So you could coach them. It's a great opportunity for a coaching moment. Again, if you don't know how to do this and you want some help, more than happy to help you. Okay. Again, the next thing, do you warm up every single day? Are you role playing? I know that there's a big team, a big community here, and we go on Clubhouse and they do role plays, right? Are you role playing before your interaction? Again, are you practicing with your teammates, or are you practicing on your clients when it actually costs you money? It's two different things. Like if I was with Peter, and Peter and I are going to an event, and we've gone to a lot of events, on the way to the event, we're role playing. What are we going to talk about? What's our intention? What are we doing? What are we going to say? What if they say this? Tell me that, like, again, what do you do? Right? A simple question when you go to an event. Hey, what do you do? My name is Joe. What do you do? And people can't answer that simple question because they haven't practiced, drilled, and rehearsed it. Right? If you think about Tom Brady, he throws 1,000 10-yard passes over and over and over. Why? It's a 10-yard pass, right? The great Kobe Bryant would throw free throws for hours, 3 hours before the team gets there, 3 hours after the team got there. Michael Jordan, look at Tiger Woods, right? If you look at all these greats, right, you can go through the history. They knew exactly what they were doing. So when they got in that situation, man, they've done this 1,000 times. They don't have to, it's not the first time they're seeing it. They're not like, what do I do? That's the key when you get into that state, that flow state, they call it, that when you get into the zone, right? Because you just know what you're doing. And then your confidence goes up at the same time. With your salespeople, so important. Role play. Do you have the scripts in place, right? If you're going to have an approach, do they know what to say? Do you have talk tracks? If they say this, do you say this? What do you say? If they say, I need to think about it. Say, I got to talk to my spouse, right? Do you know what to say? If at the beginning, hey, how much time do you set aside for this call? And they say, son, you got 3 minutes. And your presentation takes 30 minutes. What do I do? You got to role play that. Son, you got 3 minutes, go. And then you got to be able to move quick. So are you putting your people, when you're role playing and when you're giving them these scripts, are you putting them in the hardest situation when you're practicing? Or are you waiting for them to figure it out on their own when they're out on the field, when it costs you money and it costs them money and their family? Again, any of these things I'm telling you, practice, drilling, and rehearsing every single day. If you don't know how to do this, if you don't know how to set this up, if you don't have the structure, let me know. I will be more than happy to help you. Okay, this is what I do. This is what I've been doing for the last 15, 20 years. Okay, so you have to do this every single day. They used to say training, it was Zig Ziglar say training is like bathing. It's great as long as you do it every day, right? If you're going to bathe, if it's good enough to do once, like Joel said earlier, it's good enough to do every single day. You got to do it every single day. So put your people in the right position. Set up a culture in your office, right? Whether it's a Zoom, whether you have clients, whether you have team members that are just in the US or all over the world, get them to do this every single day. They have to practice, drill, and rehearse every single day. So you have the attitude. Now okay, I got my attitude in check. I'm doing the right things. Now I have my approach. I have my script. I have my battle plan. I'm geared up. Now I got to start taking action. Let's talk about activity. One of my favorite things, right? This is where most people fail. I know exactly what to do. I know how to do it. I'm doing all the right things. And then I don't do enough. So it's important, right? How do you solve that? Simple. You have to have a predictable process in place. You've heard other speakers talk about this. It has to be predictable process. Your process has to be predictable. If not, there's no solution. Biggest thing I always tell people is do the math, right? Another one of my mentors, Peter Drucker, what gets measured gets improved. I can't tell you how long I've been saying that to my team and my clients. Probably 25 years. I probably heard that when I was in high school or even in middle school. What gets measured gets improved, right? If you did any type of sports, everything was on statistics. Everything got measured. You have to do this. Listen, this is the reality. This is where it doesn't matter how much I like you. What are you doing? Show me the numbers. Is it working or not? I need to know, right? Is it good or not? Have a system in place where everything gets tracked. Again, there's lots of software out there, lots of things that you can see out there that you can create these systems. Most of these CRMs already have them all in place. Find the one that works, right? Again, how do you know if it's working? I have all my systems. I have my approach. I have a great attitude. But how do I even know I have high activity? How do I know? It's real simple. Real simple. The marketplace is going to tell you, right? Again, if I'm having a conversation with Tabitha and I have a great attitude and I have the right approach, but she doesn't buy, there's something wrong. I missed something. I got to figure out what that is. She's telling me by her not saying yes, it tells me I missed something, right? So that's where the marketplace is going to tell you if it's an attitude, if it's an approach, or if it's an activity. Now, what do I mean by that? If you look at your top performers in your business, right? What are you're going to find trends, right? You're going to see the things that they do right. And then your low performers, you're going to find out what they're doing right and what they're doing wrong as well. And again, you could look at, if you're in a business and you got someone not doing well, you got to figure out the first thing you can fix that you have control over is their attitude. Tell me what's going on. What's going on at home? What's going on with it? Like, you'll know, right? And then if the attitude is in check and you know, and all you got to ask them, are you working out? Are you writing your goals down? What time did you go to bed last night? What are you doing on the weekends, right? What are you eating? Like, if every time they go out to eat, they bring back McDonald's or some processed foods, right? You know, they don't have to tell you, you know, and then you can fix it, right? A lot of times it starts with attitude. You can fix it by following those 6 things. Help your people get better. Don't give up on them. You can fix it. It's always attitude, it's activity, or it's approach. So here's a simple and effective recipe, right? For success, right? Again, if we're making a recipe, here it is. Your attitude plus your approach plus your activity is going to equal your massive results. That's it. Real simple. Get the right attitude, get it in check. Sometimes you got to check yourself. Sometimes 4 or 5 times, 20 times a day. I got to check. Hey, how's my attitude? Okay, good. I'm not good. Why am I not good? Okay, you got to reset yourself. Sometimes you got to check yourself. Hey, you lose a call, or you got people in your place that are making calls. You got maybe a room where people are making outbound calls or inbound calls. All you got to do is look. If you have an office, you don't know, they lose a call, you see them, they'll tell you. And all of a sudden, hey, I got to fix somebody's attitude real quick. If they're in a room and it's high volume, like when I was at Grant, about 2 o'clock as a team lead, I'm walking around the office and I'm checking my people. How are their eyes? How's their energy? What do they need? Do they need to do jumping jacks? Then just stop. Hey, stop, look, get off the phone real quick. Let's do 10 jumping jacks together. Let's wake up. Sometimes you need that. So if you're a sales director, if you're a manager, even if it's Zoom, listen, if they're in the other side of the world, just call them on FaceTime, call them on video call. Hey, talk to me. What's going on? You'll know. You'll look at the charts. If you see the charts dropping, all you got to do is make that call. Or listen into a call. What's their approach? What are they saying? Maybe they're running through the call, whatever that is, right? Again, but figure it out. You have control. That's the most important thing. So, real simple. What's next for you? Ask yourself, what's next for you? Because just remember, the information that I just shared with you is free. What you do with it is really up to you. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen. I want to thank you guys. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for helping me serve you guys. Obviously, I'm a big believer in everything that the Growth Mastermind Group is doing with Peter, Joel, good friend of mine. I love you guys, man. Yeah, you guys are
Such an
great.
amazing presentation. I must say that most people underestimate the importance of health in their actual professional success. You know, it's funny because I remember looking at the work of Tony Robbins and Peter Diamandis and some of the life extension work that they're doing. And many experts and health coaches like yourself really over the years have really shown and taught how impactful. Yes, we talk about productivity, but research, and I mean, experts have known this, but now it's becoming more mainstream that our health is actually a huge factor in how successful we are. For example, you mentioned not eating processed foods throughout the day and how that has a huge impact on your energy level. And some people are lethargic, and some people do not know why they cannot focus, why they cannot hit their sales goals, right? You mentioned the importance of consistency, and you're right. I am familiar with Grant's material, and a good process, a good plan is not that useful if you're not consistent. If you cannot have predictable output, and then you can actually begin to refine the actual results. So excellent presentation. I had a couple of questions just to really um, stress on and elaborate from the perspective of an entrepreneur. So right now they're looking at this presentation where it's here on the replay, and they want to learn where to start or what are some things. I know you mentioned a couple of tips, and I did come in a little later, so I may have missed a couple, but that's fine. But generally, if I'm an entrepreneur and I'm watching this, and I want to know what are the key areas to begin improving on, where would you tell them to start?
Yeah, that's a great question, Craig, and thank you for that. Well, it's simple. Like, what are you good at? Like, what are you good at? Like, what problems do you solve for people? What compliments do you get? Like, people, what advice are people always asking you for? And there's a great exercise, and I know that that my friend Joel can really help you like figure out, dive deep into like if you need to get known, you need to do marketing, right? So I know he can help you really identify, hey, what is that thing that you're good at, and then he can help you launch that for sure. But I think as an entrepreneur, you got to be careful because you're in an exploration phase and you think you want to do this, and you want to do this, and you want to do that. Like you start falling what's called that shiny ball syndrome, right? You just got to ask yourself, what problems can I solve for people? Like, what am I good at? Like, and then who am I? My name is Joe Monazaga. I'm a father of two beautiful daughters. I'm a U.S. Navy veteran, right? I worked sales for LA Fitness for 15 years as a regional VP. I was with Grant Cardone for 4 years as a team lead. I worked all these, and I just start putting on a whiteboard, and I start identifying, man, there's a lot of things that are very consistent. Sales, training, recruiting, development, scaling, operations, systems. Man, I'm actually pretty good at that because I've actually worked with a lot of companies and done that. Maybe that's what I need to be helping people do, right? Again, I'm just talking about myself right now. So they need to do that exercise and figure out what are they good at, right? Super important. I think that's step number one. And then like Joel said earlier, if you don't have a product or a service, you don't have a business, right? So you got to figure that out first. So you got to identify who you are first. What am I good at? Who am I, right? What do people, not what I think about me, what people say about me? What advice are people asking me for? I think that's super important. And get away from that shiny ball syndrome, because that could cost you millions of dollars, and not the most important thing, costs you a lot of time.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, that's really interesting because we live in the age where, and I'm gonna speak on this when I get to my presentation, but with AI, with Web3, with crypto, and it's a phenomenon. I mean, we have to be on the cutting edge of what's new if we are to really evolve, because trends happen even in health, like I was speaking about. Again, some facts, but there are some, our knowledge as a species becoming better. So we're able to perform better, just like many athletes in sports. I'm not sure who your client base is, but just like many athletes in professional sports, they're beginning to play up to older now, meaning some of them, the typical retirement age in basketball, baseball, soccer, which I know very well, typically 45, but that's beginning to go up. So on an individual level, there is a lot better information, there are a lot better products out there. So my point is that there is a lot more information out there. And as much as things have advanced, there is so much more information, so many more products, so many experts, right? I'm quoting on purpose. We have to understand that the essentials are always important, and it doesn't matter how much is out there, but it's really what works for you. And that is where you really have to look within, be honest with yourself, and start improving from there, and actually seek the service of someone like yourself to actually get that one-on-one help, which is what most people need a lot of time.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be
Um,
more than happy to do that. And I think that the big challenge is they need to get clarity first on who they are, what they want to do. And again, a lot of times they say, well, somebody else is doing that. Like, could you imagine if Joel said, somebody else does marketing? I can't do that. Are you kidding me? Like, it's not about like, so if somebody else has done it, that's a good thing. That means that it's a proven concept. That means there is a business there, right? So look at that. Now you just got to look at, hey, what are the things that they're doing that I can utilize, that I can use for my business? Because a lot of people, it's just about refining, right? And fine tuning. And they get scared when they see somebody else doing it. And then there's that story they tell themselves, like, I'm not good enough, or that internal, right? That internal Woody Allen that just tells them you're not good enough. You're not good enough. So I think that's the biggest thing I like to help people really identify. And really the first 30 days, 60 days with me is I'm just trying to get your head right. Like, can I get you to wake up on time? Can I get you to work out? And I just created a 30-day challenge, which I'm going to break them into a 7-day, a 14-day, and a 21-day, just to make it really simple. Just really focus on 5 key areas that if I can help them commit. I talk about this with my clients, and then I'll turn it over to Peter. I'm a runner, so like I run 13 miles. I've ran 26. I do obstacle course races. I'm actually doing one tomorrow, so I'm happy to be in Michigan this weekend for that. And I just tell people, like, I tell my clients, just get to that first marker. Yeah, you want to run 13, or you want to do this big idea, you want to blow up. Like, what is the next thing you want to do, right? What is just like, what, like, meaning, like, if I want to run a company, what's the first thing I have to do? Maybe I need to get an LLC, right? Step 1, just do the next thing. Don't worry about the big goal. It'll get there. It's that compounding, right? But people get stuck in wanting to do the big thing, and then they get lost. And then they look up 60 days later or 6 years later, and they have done nothing. And I think that's where I get people to really start taking action and really become an accountability coach for them too. And I think that's where I'm seeing where the universe has taken me to help people really take what they want, put it into action, have someone hold them accountable. And then what's that next step that we need to take? We want that giant leap, but we just that next step that can just get you one step closer. So anybody else have any other questions, or we'll turn it over to Peter?
I'm not sure if anybody has any question inside of the chat. Please feel free to put it. This is the best time to put a question about sales and anything that's going to help you to get your product, your service in the front of the right person, and manage to convert that lead into a sale. And meanwhile, I just want to ask you, Joe, like, if a person is not very good at sales, and is not, like, I will say, the most outspoken person, what is going to be your advice as baby steps that they should take to get better at one of the most important crucial elements in a business, which is sales, converting your product, your service into actually money to make sure your business is going to move on to the next level?
Yeah, great question, Peter. So it's a couple of things. Number one, if you're not good in sales, you're introverted or whatever that is, listen, you got to look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself to get over it, because everything you do in life is sales. If you don't come to terms with that, life's going to be brutal, right? Right. My mentor, and probably 99% of the mentor, 100% of the people here, Grant Cardone, says, you don't get in life what you deserve. You get in life what you negotiate. So you have to learn how to be a great negotiator. And that's with everything in life. So if you don't know that, you really have 2 options. You either got to learn it, and eventually you're going to have to learn it anyways. You might as well invest in yourself. And if you have enough income, hire someone that can do it for you, right? I always tell my clients, what are the things that you can automate in your business and then you can delegate? Here's the good news. We have a group here that's why it's a mastermind group. Like I can't solve all your problems. But guess what? Eventually, if I help you get your money right, you're going to need marketing. So guess what? Hey, Joel, I'm going to pick up the phone, call Joel, get with my guy, Joel. Because again, that's not my lane. And then like, oh my God, but I'm looking at buying properties. Okay, great. Hey, let me connect you with Tabitha, right? Let me connect. What we can do here in this group is really just navigate people through this web, because we have a big web here, right? And just like, we have people that can solve everyone's problem on the either on this call or is on the replay or is part of the Growth Mastermind Group. So that's the great news. And that's what gets me excited every day, is that I tell my clients, whatever you need, I can solve it for you. No problem. Yeah, but that's not what you do. No problem. I got somebody. And they always say, man, Joe, you always know who to go to. Yeah, because my job is to solve your problems. Because if I can get you that much, if I can solve that problem for you, guess what? When you think about it at night, like, man, I really had this issue, and Joe actually figured it out. And there's really nothing in it for him. Well, there was something in it for me. It doesn't have to be financial. I helped you. That's it. That's an internal commission that helps me sleep good at night. You know, commissions is not just monetary. You know, it's in plays in a lot of different ways. And then you just know that eventually, whether it's from them or someone else, the universe has a way to repaying you back, right? So I think that, to me, that's what's powerful about this group, is that if we don't have the answer, we know somebody that does. So that's what I love about being a part of this group. And again, Peter, this is hats off to you to putting this together and getting everyone here and continuing to grow this business. So hats off, Peter.
Absolutely, sir. And I think, like it's so important what you said right now, because, it's not only like, if you're not good at sell, like you just mentioned earlier, find somebody that can be good at sell and help you sell it, and find whatever you're good at and put it, put a light on it, make it shine. If you're like a very creative person, make that creativity to shine, and find somebody and, talk with Joe, with Mr. Munizaga, to help, like to find that, I will say, sales star that's going to maybe take that product or service that you have there and bring it to that light where you're going to be able to make it shine and make it to look not only good, but also to make it to be useful, for other people. Because at the end of the day, everything that we have, product, service, we build it with the idea that we're going to have an end customer, that we're going to help them with an issue, with a challenge that they have, and whatever we're going to have is going to be useful for them. And that's exactly what we were like trying to do here, like trying to solve a problem or a challenge for somebody else. And whatever is going to be your gigs or whatever you have in your mind, put that light on, and if you're not going to find it, and somebody else is going to solve that solution that you're looking for to solve. And one last question, Joe, if anybody has any other question, feel free to join and to ask the questions. We always trying to make sure we're gonna get the questions first here. But I was just wondering, like, okay, I'm not good at it. I start to learn. I'm getting better on getting this cells into my blood, and getting better on doing so. I will say, I will say 3 things that I can prepare myself on going to a meeting or going to in front of a customer, that I should have down to the nuts, every single aspect of it, to be prepared for it, so I can get better of it every day. What are the 3 elements that you think, and outside of this attitude, approach, and, like that we talked earlier, but outside of that one, those are the 3 elements that you think every single person should have ready before any meeting to
Great
increase
question.
their chances?
Yep, great question. So let's say I'm going into a corporate meeting, right? I want to know everything about that company, right? You know, Grant always says, great salespeople aren't great talkers. They're excellent stalkers. You got to know anything and everything about your clients. You got to look them up on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, know about their dogs, know about their kids, know about their last vacation, know everything they have, and really just like become, that's where like you really become like a sales ninja, because that's really what it's all about, is you got to be 3 steps ahead of everyone else. And just doing research. Yeah, listen, it's not fun, right? You got to do it the night before. You got to prep, right? But again, we talked about earlier, proper preparation prevents poor performance. So number 1, know who you're talking to, know your clients, right? Number 2, go in there with an intention. You're not going there to talk. You're not going there to chit chat. You're going there to close a deal. And you got to know that. You got to be intentional. If you're going to an event, I tell people, I have my clients go to the boot camp this past week and the real estate summit. And I said, why are you going there? I'm going there to learn. I was like, no, you're not. You're going there to make money. You're going there to meet people because somebody in that room has your next contract. You need to go there to connect, to go collaborate. Who is that person? Who's those 3, 10 people, right? That need to do that. And then when they would debrief with me that night, I said, how was the luncheon? Because they're sitting in VIP. It was great. Okay. Who did you meet? Give me their names. What do they do? And they're like, did you guys sit together? It's 2 of them, right? Yeah. All right. Tomorrow, separate. Sit in different tables. One sit on one side, one sit on the other side. Don't sit together. And make it a goal to meet 5 different people every single day, because that's where your business is. So if you're going to an event, if you're going to talk to somebody, you have to have an intention. So you got to know who you're talking to. If you're going into a business, right? Know the person. Number 2, go in there with the intention. You're not going there to talk. You go in there to close the deal, right? And number 3, before you leave, make sure you don't leave without having that next step. Let's say you don't get the deal. Okay, what's next? What's the follow-up cadence, right? What are you gonna, what's the next meeting? Am I calling you this afternoon? Do we need to get with the board? Do I need to send you some information? Most of the time, you better have all that information ready. Hey, I need you to send me this, this, and this. Give me 1 second. It's already in your inbox. Send it to them immediately. Because the problem is, I'll send it to you by the end of the day. And then you leave, and then you get a phone call, fire happens, this, and all of a sudden you forget. Send it to them right then and there. The minute you leave, I'm going to give you step number 4. The minute you leave, send them a text message, send them a video. Hey, thank you for the opportunity to meet you. It was great meeting you. I don't know if you guys saw the post I did on LinkedIn and Instagram yesterday. I was wearing my cash flow hat and I was flying to Michigan. I had 3 people walk up to me in the airport because I was wearing the hat. One guy had a 10X rule book. Another one went to the real estate summit, and then another person owned another business. Right. So what did I do when I got those people's information? Literally, the guy was sitting 5 chairs away from me. I was texting him. Hey, it was great meeting you at the airport. Looking forward to connecting soon. Send him a video, right? Either one of those 2 immediately, because that's the thing that separates you from everyone else. You have to have separation, and separation in business is just doing the little things. So those are the 4 things that I'd tell you to do.
Absolutely amazing. Thank you very much, Joe. I think it was a great advice for everybody that, it's in sales, and I appreciate it. And by the way, if somebody wants to connect with you, how they can reach out to you?
Yeah, real simple. So I'm going to, I can give you can connect with me any social channels, Joe _ last name Munizaga. I'll put it in here. And my IG is probably the easiest one. And then in Instagram, I have a link tree, and you can book a call with me. You can, we can set up a time to talk, whatever it is, right? Whatever you guys want. So just go there, click my bio, right? Joe _ Munizaga, and then just hit the link tree, and then everything you can do is connect with me there. I make it really simple. One call to action, like Joel said. I don't want to say, call me, text me, email me, write me this, no. Go to Instagram. As a matter of fact, everyone right now, go to Instagram, click on my go ahead and follow me right now. Give me a follow. And again, I'm not trying to look for more followers, but I do want to connect with you. And then let's reconnect. Let's connect. I want to see if you guys can do this simple thing. I gave you guys a theory. And again, this is another thing you can do, right? Go ahead and follow me right now. Send me a quick DM if you want, right? You can put GMG, so I know that it's you, and we'll connect. Simple. So take a moment, go to Instagram, right? Grab your phone. Yes, grab your phone. Go to Instagram right now and just follow me and hit GMG. Just send me a DM GMG so I know that you liked what I talked about today. You took away one piece of information. You're going to utilize it. Listen, if anything that I told you today or any of these speakers have taught you today that you actually put into action and you see results, do me a favor, do them a favor, post it, send out a video, tag us, right? Go to First Direct Marketing, right? Go to Joe Berg, go to Ken Jocelyn, go to Craig, go to Growth Mastermind Group, go to all these speakers that are going to be here this weekend. And just say, hey, thank you for the information. This is my win. Because that's what life's about. It's about winning. It's about the right things, about the right attitude. Because I'm telling you, like, if Craig posts a win, that's going to motivate Tabitha to post a win. And then it's going to motivate Caesar to post a win. And it's going to motivate Marie to post a win. And everybody's winning. We have to, this is where that energy starts growing. I want to see everyone win. So go ahead, hit that Instagram, connect with me. Let's connect together. Post your wins. I'll tag you guys on wins. Obviously, we're going to get a lot of footage from this. If you tag me, I'm going to tag you back, right? If I don't know you, I can't send you any followers, right? I can't flow you any attention, right? So I want to flow you attention and I want to promote you. Help me promote you. I'll be more than happy. Like Tabitha, I want to connect with you because I want to promote you. I'm going to promote Joel. Every Friday, I'm doing some type of promotion for another company. That's just that's what I'm doing on my Instagram. Okay, so and everything I post on Instagram goes to Facebook and goes to LinkedIn automatically, right? Here's the power, and I don't want to take up too much more time of posting and tagging the right people. Everybody knows who Matt Smith is, right? So I've been tagging him every day on stuff, every day. Good guy, got his cell number, great guy. I just been tagging him on things. And he hits me yesterday. Hey, we need to reconnect. Let's get on a call. I wasn't really looking for that. Obviously, I love talking to him. He's a great guy. But the intention was just to flow him some power, right? I wanted to flow Wake Up Pueblo some power. And he's like, hey, let's connect. We got to do something. Okay. Love to do something, right? But again, because you go in with the intention of, let me promote their business. Let me help them, right? I'm not looking for anything in return, but notice how the universe pays back. So I challenge you to do that. Tell you, it's easy things you guys can do. And again, Joe knows Matt. I mean, amazing company, amazing people. I know they do some work with them as well. So it's great. But it's just a simple example of when you do the right things just come back to you. So.
Wow, thanks so much, Joe. We appreciate you adding so much value to this. And for the sake of time, because we're running behind, I want to introduce our next speaker, not to take anything away from Joe, but remember, the best thing you can do today is the top 5% of all entrepreneurs in business take action immediately. So do not wait while I'm introducing our next speaker. Go to Instagram and make sure you're connecting with Joe. Let him know that you heard him at GMG at the summit and what you appreciated most out of him. And welcome to Michigan, by the way, Joe.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.